Hello, welcome to Nate's Studio Desk. We had a comment on one of our videos about extruding curves into objects and trimming those to roofs, and also to go over record history in a little bit more detail. So we're going to go over those really quickly in this video. To start, I like to work in the top view and to make columns, and so I'll just do a rectangle and then hit extrude it, and you can always I like to use the scale 1D, and you can scale the column that way. You can also size it as the curve and then extrude it. So like if you want to make it 1 foot, scale 1D, so 1 foot. And you'll notice our curve is still there. So then if you want to have that extend up to a roof, so let's say we have a series of these columns. I'll just put the linear array here and do 5 columns and array those. So let's say we have a series of columns in the front and back of our building. So move those, I don't know, 15 feet. Okay, so we have some extremely large columns. Now you could make one of these columns into blocks, and I did make a video on blocks, and edit only this one column and it would update all your columns. That would be probably advisable, because if you come here, it might be difficult. If you now do scale 1D, you're not going to get very consistent results, and you'll have things go awry. So, but anyways, to trim to the roof, so let's say we create a roof, and again, I really like to work in the top view, really for creating anything. You know, if I wanted the roof to have a profile, I would come into front view and just draw, you know, let's say I wanted this sweeping roof and be able to manipulate that. I would just draw that here and then press extrude curve and extrude it along there to get a sweeping roof. Extend that out. So I actually want to go in the other direction, use the gumball, and I hold shift to lock it into place. So now you'll notice what I'll have to do if I want to give this thickness now is I'll have to offset surface, and let's just do 6 inches. Now offset surface, you'll notice it will do stuff, you know, you don't have as much control over that profile. And so you can always draw this if you want to be able to control it a little bit more. You can just draw the whole profile and extrude it as a solid. So for instance, let's say I wanted something like this, join, and now I extrude it. You'll notice I'll get the whole, it immediately becomes a solid. It's not a surface. Okay, so we have this, which is now a poly surface, and I'm gonna go Control T, and that's gonna trim my columns to whatever profile I have for my roof. So those are the columns, and it's there. And if I wanted to do the ground plane, or just extrude the curve, do 1 foot, and you know, if I wanted to put some, let's bring this down 1 foot. If I wanted to put some walls into here, you could do it a couple different ways, but use the rectangle 3D point view, and then come in here and extrude curve, and then just extend it up all the way, Control T, Okay, and then you extrude the curve up and hit Control T to trim it to the roof. Now if you wanted to create a window, I can come into right view here, and I would just create a rectangle and then also hit Control T. I can offset that curve, so now there's two curves here, as you can see. And then I can extrude that 1 foot to create a window frame, place it in the window frame, and then I can hit planar surface to create the surface for the actual glass itself, and then place that in there, extrude the surface, and then place it in the window frame here and give it a material. I don't like using the glass material because then you don't get the same flexibility with how. So I'm just gonna move this camera. It's moving around on me. You don't get the same flexibility. It gives you limited amount of flexibility. So I like to just use the custom, and then I can set it to whatever I want. I just have more flexibility there. So I can give it, more transparency, or give it an image or reflectivity, depending on what type of style you are going for. Okay, so that's the frame, basically extruding curves up into columns, and also creating the roof, the walls, and trimming those on the roof. Okay, so now let's say I want to do a custom profile, and this is where the record history comes into play. And so I'll go back to top view, and let's say I wanted to do an I-beam or any custom profile. Let's just do a column with a fun reveal. So not really a I-beam, but just something that has a little bit of a reveal to it here. I need to put on my smart track. There we go. And I can always come back and change it. So now this is the, going over the record history. So in order for it to work, you have to click it and then hit record history, extrude the curve. Let's bring it up, and you'll notice, okay, so I have my shape here, and I say, you know what, this is way too chunky. Now when I edit the curve, it's going to edit the entire shape. So you can see that in, let's do shaded view so you can see it a little bit better. I'm editing the curve. I'm not editing anything else. So let's say we made a curve and we didn't hit record history. Extrude curve, come up. Now when I edit just the curve, it's not going to do anything, and it's not linked to the object. So that's the advantage to the record history, is if you want to control the object through the curve. Now you can just as easily do Control Shift, and either move and change the profile that way. So that was just moving the object here, or you can extrude it, which adds an additional element. Control Shift, you can either move or extrude by hitting the this ball and the gumball. So it's really up to you how you want to be able to customize your columns and what you feel most comfortable with. And if you don't like doing with the curves, that's fine if you're not doing something as delicate. I've found that the record history is helpful because it is easier to move around line work than it is a whole shape. But now if you want to come and only change, chamfer it, and now this is, once you break the history, you can't link it back. Once you want to break out of that z-axis and change something in this direction, then that makes sense. Okay, well, I think that's it for this video. Let's see, walls, columns, up to roof, and record history, and take up to the roof and take the curve profile of the roof. So I think that basically Control T will take on that. So to demonstrate that in a more curved area, I can go scale 1D and move this up and Control T. Whoops. This is gonna do weird things. So Control T. Make sure you don't have anything selected. Select, and it'll tell you, select cutting objects. Okay, this is my roof's my cutting object. Press Enter, select objects to trim, and I select that. And now it takes on the profile. Whoops, I just trimmed this by accident. Now if we bring this out, you can see it takes on the profile. And look, oh my gosh, there's a hole in it. And to remedy the hole, you type in cap and it closes the hole. So I think that's going to be it for this tutorial. Thanks. Please subscribe to the videos and subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you. Have a good day.